Okay, part. I'm so glad you asked the question, what to do on this assignment. So I know it probably looked very confusing and I did not mean for that to happen. So sorry on that. So I'm going to send this to you. I'm also going to try to call you. Maybe just talk it over with you on the phone. Think of this as 7 tasks. So for the first task, you're going to be looking at the 10 amendments of the Constitution. That's what we call the first 10. It's called the Bill of Rights. So if you look at it right here in bold, the First Amendment says, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of what? Religion, speech, press, assembly, and petition. So you're going to take this First Amendment and you're going to do these 3 things to it. And you're going to write it exactly as it appears. So this would be the First Amendment. Then you're going to do that for the Second Amendment, Third Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth, Sixth, Seventh, Eighth, Ninth, 10th. You're going to do these 3 things 10 times. I know it's repetitive. Then what you'll do, so the first one we're going to do, we're going to break this one down. So we're doing this. Write out the amendment exactly as it appears. So I've done that. Then, in your words, in Kaylee's words, what would you say this means if someone was like, hey, Kaylee, what's the First Amendment? You don't have to list them all off, but you could say, hey, you have the freedom of speech. You can pretty much say anything you want to an extent. You can go to church, or you don't have to go to church. You can petition the government. Then, that's all you do for number 2. And then, how have you ever used this in your life? Maybe you get on social media. Maybe you write a paper in an English class. If you go to church or not go to church, that's what that is. So we've done for the First Amendment, we've done those 3 things. Then you'll repeat this process for 2 through 10. Hopefully that makes sense. Then task 2, we're going to, that's kind of confusing. We've already done that. That was the first task. Okay, so I'm going to erase this right here. Sorry, that was kind of confusing. So really this is task 2. So you're going to discuss the First Amendment. So we're going to break down the freedom of speech a little bit further. So asking you, how do you see people using it positively? How do you see people using it negatively? Now you just can't make up something. You need to look at a scholarly source. Maybe look on a newspaper website. I'm blanking out here. Newspaper, if you watch like television station, like news stations, like News West 9 in Midland. All right, that type of thing. Some people say words don't harm us. Well, find a place on the internet where it gives you an example of someone who's either taken their life or self-harmed. You're going to find a lot of information about kids get bullied online and they go home and commit suicide. Number 4, find an example on the internet where a student, possibly a college student, had a full ride scholarship and then all this bad things from their past resurfaced. Talk about that. Number 3, you're going to break down the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. So look what I wrote on this first question. List a brief history of any form of hunter or firearm safety education you may have experienced. Maybe you have none. So if you say, yes, I have all of this, or no, I've never held a gun before, that's perfectly fine. All right? You don't get points counted off if you have or have not. So maybe you had an uncle, maybe you had a dad. I had a father that taught me gun safety. I taught that to my kids. Okay? Number 2, in your opinion, why is there such a violence problem in America? Or people only feel the solution is to kill somebody else? All right. Have you ever talked about that a little bit? All right. Give me some good feedback. Give me about 5 sentences. Think about that. Find a news article where a good person or a person who was armed stopped somebody who was trying to shoot her other people. There's a great story out there where there was a young man with his girlfriend or wife or fiance. I believe they were in a mall in Minnesota. They're in the food court. Someone came in there to start hurting people, started shooting a bunch of people. This person who had illegally carrying his firearm shoots and kills the person, stops the killing. Talk about that a little bit. Do you see a solution? What's the solution you think with gun violence? Do you think educating children with gun safety would be a possible solution? What are your thoughts on that? Check out this video. There's some questions to answer. There's a little bit of thought to put into that. This would be the next task. What are the rights of women in other countries around the world? Watch this video, and after watching this video, you're going to answer these questions. All right. This one's basically a reflection. What's something that really stood out to you after completing this assignment? Did you ever get upset about how women in other countries have so little rights? And the last thing to do is to reply on two people's papers. Okay, once you've posted yours or you've added your work to the discussion board, you're going to reply to what two other people wrote. Okay, hopefully that helps. If you need any help, reach out. Thanks for asking.